Hello and thank you for joining us for our third Academy game of today as Cloud9 Academy take on CLG Academy. A match that last split would have been first versus last, but now it's second versus fourth. But not really, because there's lots of ties between those two teams.
Yeah, and CLG's story this split has been how they turned around, obviously the last place spring into now tying for second place. Big part of it, coaching change is the only big roster move that we've seen, but a more focused composition, much more coherent has been the story for them. Now they started to deviate a little bit of it last week with a Karthus jungle game that we do not need to see again, but they did fall to 100 Thieves who looked really good. Yeah, don't play Karthus jungle right now. I know it sounds like a free win, but you need to be a lot more active on the map from the jungle role than just being a farm bot.
Yeah, and then we actually just heard from Dokla, but even though C9's record isn't that good, Cloud9's certainly a team that is feared by most. I mean, when the number one team currently is saying that the only team that might be close is Cloud9, and they're sitting where they are at 3-3, you know that Cloud9 is going to be, back on to have another strong run here in summer. In fact, we might even be here right now, picking up some early losses, not looking so good, but C9 ran the table last spring, could certainly be in position to do that here again. So CLG Academy, despite their good place in the standings right now, do have a very tough opponent if they want to keep themselves in that conversation for the top of the standings.
Yeah, and I think that if they want to have a shot here, they need to go back to the basics that work for them, which is just very easy to execute compositions, things that are point and click that can say go, because what we've seen today is that a lot of these games are falling into the same mode where the teams that don't have a way to engage just essentially have a really hard time pushing an early lead into the mid game and then come the late game into the team fights. You know that you're going to be fighting around dragons. It's about being able to quickly take those fights when you see somebody being out of position and punishing them forward. If your composition can't do that, you're just giving Cloud9 a lot more room to work with. And Speaking of room to work with, Fudge has just been crushing in the top lane. Just like, he might be my top pick for Academy players right now.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about this matchup, and just about C9 in general, is that, everyone on the team at some point in spring, and I think now again in summer, was capable of taking over a game. But we didn't actually... Fudge felt like a background character in a lot of the matches. Not because he was playing badly, but because King and the rest of Cloud9 were playing so well. This split with King out of the roster, with Tomo being the newcomer to that role, the other OPL guy on the same team as King has started to take over and come into his own in the 1v1. So given that we always talk about Deus as being one of the more important members of CLG Academy, and certainly their brightest spot in spring, although the rest of the team has certainly stepped up all of them so far this summer, Fudge has just been dominating people, especially with Gangplank, which is a champion that we know both of these players love. So going to be a fun top lane matchup to watch, because if either team wants to commit resources, whether it's in draft, whether it's in jungle attention in the early game, we could see that balance tip pretty aggressively, because both these players are capable of taking over a lane.
So that's when the red side is going to be really important here, because Cloud9 will likely have to put Fudge in something that's a little bit more standard, whereas Deus, unless he gets his hands on Ornn, I think might just be given the counter pick. We've seen Tuesday have no problem taking his pick early, whether it's a Galio or the classic Azir or Orianna or even a Corki. These are not picks you're really saving your last rotation for, so Deus might be in a good position here to deal with whatever Fudge can throw his way.
Well, we'll have to see what the draft does bring us. Curious to see if Ornn even makes it through, to be perfectly honest. But TF and Trundle have been banned alongside Karma and Callista. Everyone's alliterating today in their bans. Phelios does not start with a T though, so C9 break the combo.
So I think CLG is also going to be breaking the combo here. There's not any other K champions that you'd want to get rid of right now.
Get it out of there.
Kassadin. Now Ezreal.
Kesriel. Alright, Ezreal banned away by CLG. Kind of a curious set of bot lane centric bans actually, but that does leave Varus kind of screaming to be picked here. Cloud9 Academy will just take it. Ooh, insta volley bear for CLG though. Insta Pantheon. Okay, they've got a plan.
Support. Calling it right now. That's Pantheon support. Yeah.
Have seen it already, at least in the LCS. Most recently, Ignar was playing it.
It is taking over solo queue. It is so annoying to deal with in the bottom lane. Like, unbelievable. Not only is his early invade really powerful, but his itemization makes him a huge nuisance. And your level 6 runs, I mean, you have a global, right? It's like thinking of Pantheon mid that just happens to be in the support role. So when it comes down to engaging a fight or fighting around that Herald, Pantheon support can definitely deliver. But he's going to have a hard time up against Thresh. You can always flay him out of that stun, or even just save somebody that is immobile, like his buddy Varus, out of the ult.
Haven't seen you in a while. Talia going to make an appearance here for Tuesday, I assume, but I guess you never know. Could be Fragus's pick. I mean, literally all three of these champions could be junglers, so there's quite a lot of flexibility happening here for CLG.
Might be too much flex, right? Like when you're in the mirror and you flex all the blood, like, and then you pass out. That's what CLG can do. They might be over flexing here.
Hecarim banned away. Okay, what has been happening in scrims?
Okay, so that's Hecarim. You could play in the jungle because of the ghost buff, but I think it's Hecarim top that you want to get rid of because he's so powerful. Because he doesn't get to run TP, he runs Ignite, just a big lane bully.
Makes sense. There's Gangplank ban, so following that thread, there's some more top lane targeting happening here for Cloud9. As good as Fudge is at Gangplank, I don't think it's worth like taunting Deus to pick it here blind and then potentially take over the game, so I do like the respect being shown there. Let's see what CLG's ban is here. For how like different this draft is already, it has been very fast between these two teams. So Syndra going to be the 5th ban there for CLG.
They just want speed. Throw off your opponent. If you're banning fast, then they have less time to think of what they have to do or what the flex comp can do. So I like it, especially for CLG's side. Now for Cloud9, pacing yourself definitely works because you need to figure out what the heck this composition can do. Because now you can all of a sudden think this could be Talia bottom. Right, you could have Talia
Wynn's actually played that already
with Pantheon, so you can have that bit of the 2v2, and that just means you're going all in, camp bottom lane, try to kill Tomo and Diamond as quickly as possible.
Yeah, there's Aatrox blind as on, which was conspicuously left open Fudge, but is going to be picked up here. I also, like I said, Wynn has played Talia bot before. Not this split, but he did play it in Spring, actually. I don't remember if it was alongside Pantheon. It might have been. I know that was that the Griffin special at some point?
Yep. It was the Griffin special. They lost. They debuted it in the finals against SKT. It wasn't their best look. We would have liked to see them do something a little bit more standard, but ever since then, people are like, oh, you got to run this. This could be cool.
It is cool, but will it win? I guess is the thing we'll find out. There's Orianna, though, for Palafox, so actually pretty normal for Cloud9 as far as comp goes. They'll be pretty happy with this draft. Also, it's set jungle with Ornn being picked up there. That was the bit I missed. Ooh. Sylas, though, the last pick. Another jungle solo laner.
Okay, sick. Sick. I love this comp from CLG. I wanted to also add a little caveat. I've seen this in solo queue a bit more. Aatrox jungle is actually fairly viable. Like, you could go Conqueror, Cinder Hulk, or Bami Cinder, and you can run over some games, but without an AD carry, this means that Cloud9 or CLG's composition has one direction. It is go, and I love to see that because that is what has worked for them this split.
Yep, it's very aggressive, a little unconventional, but I like it. And I do like that we're continuing to see, like, throwing mages bot lane into Varus and Aphelios, right? Like, these two very powerful ADs, but are fairly immobile. Yes, there's a thresh on the enemy team, so it's going to be made a little bit more difficult, but the idea of trying to punish these ADs by just hammering them with mages is something that I think is cool, and this is another exploration of that. Talia Pantheon is kind of a throwback, not something that many teams, certainly in North America, play a lot, but I do believe that CLG Academy have played it this year, and Wynn has shown that he's, willing to play, not just his Draven, not just standard marksman, willing to try and take a mage here to try and punish the Varus that they willingly gave over to Cloud9. So certainly a plan here for CLG. I'm curious to see if they can execute with their fairly aggressive draft.
I want to see especially what the Sylas can do. Sylas is often picked into Ornn in the top lane, but from the jungle, you still have access to his ultimate and a wealth of other very powerful tools, like the Varus ultimate. Wow, what a great one. Or the Shockwave. Really, you go in and suddenly you got everybody circling around you, so lots of tools for CLG. I hope they give us an exciting game.
Yep. We get us building up some game delay, of course, but we'll be thrown off to break in just a moment. We're thrown off to break right now. Take it all back. We'll see you in a few minutes for game number 3. Welcome back. We've seen Champ Select, we've built up some game delay, and we're about to get ourselves onto the Rift for CLGA Academy versus Cloud9 Academy, where Crumbs, the teams have taken, well, CLG has taken a very distinct turn in this draft.
I love this. Love the variants that we have in the drafts today, whether it's the first time Bard or the Ziggs Bard bottom lane. Now we have no marksman, not necessarily a traditional bottom lane, something that we've seen before like the Talia Pantheon, but combined with everything else in CLG's wheelhouse, the identity is clear, and that's what we love about the composition. It's not that these individual pieces are cool in and of themselves, but together they make one cohesive idea, which is engage, constantly fight, and punish the pick that you let through first, which was the Varus. And we've already seen TSM take down the Varus just last week, and it was the same idea, just continuously dive him, and it worked.
Yep, it's certainly a champion that can be overthrown, but it's tricky. Cloud9 have drafted very standard, I think, on the other side. You know, they took the Varus, they picked the Thresh, they basically built to protect the power of their pick. They have extremely solid, very standard team composition here, and they'll be up against presumably a very angry CLG who are just going to be throwing as much engage as they can possibly muster, which in this draft is a lot. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Not only do they have engage as pastry, globals too. You've got Talia and Pantheon that can cross a big distance and assist other parts of the map, and then you can also count Fragus. I mean, his leap is huge. I'm not going to say it's a global leap, but it can get over some big walls that could be pretty important. So it is. We didn't get to see the trade at the end, but it is the Silas in the mid, or maybe we did see it and I just missed it. But it's Silas mid, Volibear jungle.
Yep. So Volibear has settled on the jungle for this go around. Dancing away right now. Fudge, of course, on duty this time. Up against Deus with the Aatrox. And looks like everyone's just kind of chilling out for now. Perusing summoners real quick. I mean, CLG haven't gone like completely off book, like off the rails here, let's say. You know, they do have Ignite for Pantheon, which makes sense. I really hope you take Ignite if you're willing to drive Pantheon in the bottom lane. But, you know, it's not like 3 or 4 Ignites. They've got teleports. You know, they've still got plenty of... You know, there's still a real team comp. It's just its goal and like what it wants to do is a little bit more aggressive than, you know, what C9 have, let's say.
Yeah, they're not gonna go super hard early with the Ignites. I think TPs has become such a strong staple now. Especially, I don't remember the patch where this was changed, but when the cooldown of it is lower with the later the game goes, it just incentivized everybody to take as many teleports as possible. And if you can't pack one, then having tools that can influence the map from a distance, global, semi-globals, long-range spells became even more popular.
Yep. We'll see how mid-lane looks later on. Powerfox with the early lead as kind of expected in range versus melee. I really like the Silas in this comp actually. I think there's a ton of good ults to steal that you highlighted already, Crumbs. And I think this kind of ties the rooms together nicely for the general plan of CLG wanting to engage early and often. But I do expect the 1v1 to not feel so great there for Tuesday, especially in the early levels. This 2v2 though, much more interesting. A lot of interaction here already.
But I also really like this variation from Tomo. So
yeah,
he's not going Comet, he's going with attack speed Varus, right? The old and forgotten way that you could play this champion, because you've got melee champions that are all trying to dive onto you. If you go poke, you have no hope, right? Like, the best thing is you're hitting a few spells, but you know that you're going to be standing and delivering, and if you can just sit there, lifesteal a little bit, and try to dish out as much damage as you can before going down, then this really gives you better odds of just playing into what CLG was expecting out of you, which is the poke Varus.
And it's funny because we both noticed things in the bottom lane, and we reacted at the same time, but we both noticed different things.
What'd you see?
I was wondering why Wind had no CS, and it's because he's gone Spell Thieves. So he's actually the support in this lane, and Phil is going to be the one taking all the fun.
Weird, huh?
Yeah,
it is weird. I thought it was odd as well, but I guess he wants to be doing
Alright, here comes Inari. He's going to ruin all the fun. Wind going to be forced to flash away. Pops the heal there as well. Phil, though, back down as here comes Fragus. Is here as well. Everyone's just involved.
Oh my god.
And the first blood's going to be on the top side. That's Pantheon grabbing it. There's the second kill onto Diamond there for Fragus. And CLG, what did we say? They want to fight. Everyone comes down to the party, and they get 2 kills.
If I'm a coach of CLG right there, I got a tear to my eye. Just a tear to my eye. Seeing the beauty of everybody TPing down there and instantly making it to the party in the bottom lane, especially after Cloud9 committed double flashes. When the double flashes were committed, you knew you were actually going to be able to rack up some kills. Unfortunately, Tuesday did not get a kill down there, which would have been a really nice one for him. But he's going to take a look at this play again. The creep wave is there. Tomo's like, guys, I am going to get out of here. This is not good. Let's see if the Silas TP was actually necessary. Yeah, not really. But I love the effort, love the enthusiasm to be there to back up your team.
I like the commitment, you know, CLG knowing what the play was going to be. Everyone's on the same page. Fragus is just about to destroy Inori potentially. The Haymaker is up though, so Fragus just chases him away from this crab that is definitely his after that mauling in the river.
It's like the crab is a bear cub, like, get away, it's my cub.
Protecting his friends, although just ate it, so not that friendly. But, you know,
what about
such
Tahm Kench kind of eats you and protects you.
Such is the nature of, you know, the great outdoors. Crumbs is Fragus looking good here early on the Volibear jungle.
So I've got a skin idea for Volibear. I want to get your thoughts on it. Angelic Volibear, and when he leaps, he gets wings. Think of like Kale wings. So he's just flying around in the leap.
I like it. I like it a lot. We need more armored bears, right? He lost his armor. We've got to get it back somehow. I like it. Fox here. Cleaning out minions in the mid. He's up in CS, especially after that TP. Certainly makes sense. Good flick there from Wind onto Diamond. Phil doesn't quite find a follow-up Q, but not feeling too bad about it. Farm check's going to be a little different here in bot, but Phil is currently a little bit behind Tomo. Those are the two champions in this lane of farming. Pantheon versus Varus, not Cecilia.
It's what you'd expect the Pantheon to fall behind in CS now. He's gone with very simultaneously defensive, but allows him to be aggro as well, build with the Merc Tread. So when Varus has the ultimate, he's going to be a lot harder to lock down. Nori stun's not going to matter a lot. So I like this so far from Phil. I think that this Pantheon can really do a lot of work this game. And it's tricky to think like how they want to be playing it and distributing the gold, because we obviously know that both directions work. And I think that when you have the Talia, you just know that she has more guaranteed utility than Pantheon.
Yeah,
Like,
it's interesting.
Whether she's 0-10 or 10-0, she's got a wall, she's got the knockback, she's got the E. But Pantheon, 0-10 Pantheon does nothing for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting argument, right? Because, like you said, they both have tools they can use with little gold, right? They both have decent CC, they both have global ultis or semi-global ultis, but they both also can benefit a lot because they're both damage characters, right? From having gold. Only one of them can get it. I think, like, if you're trying to snowball with it, giving Pantheon gold at least early makes sense. I'm curious if they're going to switch it all throughout the course of the game, or if it is just going to be Phil farming the entire time. But Cloud9, ignoring all of that, they're actually just going to push CLG off the objective and take the first Drake for themselves as they nab the ocean.
It is hard for CLG to engage without their ultimates, without level 6, on top of the fact that Fudge has TP while Deus does not. So I think giving up this dragon early is fine, but level 6, when these guys can use their global ultimates, I don't expect them to give up a dragon that easily, even if there is a teleport advantage.
Yeah, CLG actually up pretty significantly in gold still despite all that, so those 2 kills will certainly do it for you. 800 gold up actually. Fragger's continuing to farm nice and smoothly. Gonna be level 6 in short order. Still though, despite the skirmish win, doesn't seem like they felt too disrupted here by the aggressiveness of this Talia and Pantheon. Although right now, Phil and Wind are getting things pushed up. It feels like as levels in gold trickle in, things do get easier here for the 2v2. And Fragger's going to take the Rift Herald, so continuing to use his early jungle advantage nicely here.
Now, this Herald is going to be really important for determining where CLG goes to dive, because you can combo it with the Volibear ultimate, get the few kills, chunk out of the turret, and then pop the Herald, get that first brick, and snowball the game. You want to get the game into the state where no one is in laning phase anymore, and you can just use the globals to move across the map, pick off individual members. But to get to that point, you want to tower dive people while they're still in a locked location, which is to be under the turret. So CLG Wind will have to just likely spam the wave alongside Phil, and then maybe you have Phil hide in a brush so that he can just pop the ultimate and get a big, nice combo onto the bottom lane. But Diamond can outplay it. Diamond's Lantern can be the saving grace that stops CLG's onslaught in the dive bot.
Certainly would like to see some dives. Volibear, as we've seen, never hesitates to dive under the tower. I mean, actually, both Volley and Pantheon are very good at tower diving.
That's why he's so good as a support right now, too, because he just starts the aggro at pretty much any, level 3 onwards. He just jumps in and takes all the shots he needs to, and then can take 2 more with his final E, which makes it more powerful than most other supports are for these early aggressive moves. Like, nobody else can really tank that many turret shots and still have not only burst with a serrated Dirk itemization, but point and click CC.
Cloud9 though is just gonna try and keep the gold lead as minimal as it can be. Fudge is just happily doing some smithing up there in the top. It's a Bami Cinder now. But again, Cloud9, no need to rush here. I think they're expecting this CLG aggression. They've already got the first dragon. Gonna go ahead and take control of this crab as well. Fracus and Wind are maybe gonna set something up. They're actually both 6+ right now, so we could see one or both of these semi-globals kind of move somewhere else. Fracus also roaming in, but he's about to get dunked by Inori. Dives back in there with the diamond, flashes out towards Wind. That's a nice little maneuver. Here comes the Pantheon though. Phil gets exhausted instantly. Here comes Wind, gonna try and hunt down Tomo. Doesn't get it though as Tomo steps forward to avoid it. Fracus now caught in the shockwave. Powerfox able to take him down with a nice arrow from Tomo on the assist. And Cloud9 find a nice pick.
Ooh, so the CLG composition, we kind of get to see what they wanted to do, but without flanking and attacking from multiple sides, Cloud9 can easily just retreat. So as soon as they deterred the initial engage, it was a lot easier for them to just run back and know that there's nobody that's going to continue to flank them. Pantheon is not strong enough right now to just dive into the backline and immediately wreck them. And Fracus used his ultimate to re-engage, but there wasn't a lot of follow-up. It was more like individual members going in one at a time, and there's not enough damage for them to be all that scary, but they do have enough to poke out Tomo, and now he is in some trouble because he doesn't have potions, he only has a Vamp Scepter, and Volibear is on his way.
Yeah, really nice W there from Wind. Almost taking Tomo out by himself. Would have been a kill, I think, if Diamond wasn't there. And the dive is going to come. No Stormbreaker here for Fracus, but he doesn't need it. It's going to pop that Herald. There's the Hex Flash from Inori. They're going to have to contend with an awful lot here with the Rift Tower charging down. And that tower looks to be going down. Certainly going to get low. We'll see if CLG have enough time to finish it off. Doesn't look like it, but they'll take the plates regardless. Nice little move there from CLG.
So tough to crack that tower before getting it under those 2 plates. If it's a little bit healthier than that and the team is there to kill the Herald, the chances of you getting that are really low. And what's worse is if you get greedy and want to stick around to try to kill it, which can just put you in a position to be overextended and then get instantly bopped by the collapsing team. Now, that effort used on that Herald that didn't get that bottom turret is now just going to net Cloud9 the second dragon, so they definitely take pages out of their, what do we call it, their sister team, yeah. The sister team, big sister team, and are immediate to the objectives and don't focus on anything else. You know that you can then set up fights on your own volition from then on.
Don't see that often, but Palafox ulting the wave just to get that recall timing right where he wants it. Like to see that. I imagine that means he's going to be holding on to the teleport. Might
making sure that it still works. Done. Yeah, you want to...
It does still work, yep.
Yeah.
Can't confirm, but still good. And this slow game again, especially with the Drake snowballing, probably favors Cloud9. Still going to get hooked up, but now he's going to get out of the Tomo. You better take the Lantern! Can't click it, gets stunned, and he's just caught out of position. Tuesday also in here alongside Deus, as you mentioned. The TP's coming in, and I feel like I've seen this play before, Crumbs. That's 2 kills for CLG.
5-man party into the bottom lane again. It's what we knew they were going to go for, but Cloud9 has not swept the backside. They have not been fully aware of when it's coming from CLG, and so now they finally might lose, but they have a play on their own. Here's another TP.
Oh, Fudge TPing in. I like this play a lot. Oh, that was an interesting one, but Inori, I think, had to do it for his own health. Phil forced to flash away, and Fudge is going to chase him down. He's got the flash, he's got the E, it hits for the slow. There's the kill. There's Palafox trying to chase one down as well, but cannot find it. Fracus, though, going to pop the Stormbringer. Palafox, though, had it watered out. Nice bait from the Orianna.
Okay. They
play in. They're going to commit here for Fracus. He's already ultied up. Still has a bit of bonus health. Tomo, though, charging in with no ulti. The Q's not needed. Palafox able to take down the Fracus Volibear.
Twice has the Volibear died around that same location, so not really the place that he wants to be fighting it from here on out, as Cloud9 just takes him out, even without Palafox's ultimate, as he had already hula hooped the creeps in the mid lane. But a really nice TP out of Fudge, not letting his bottom lane be punished without him having something to say about it. But CLG has Pantheon ultimate. Volibear is not here. If they want to take this fight, it'll be a 4v5.
Going to be looking for it, though, by the looks of things. Tuesday's got the Orianna ulti, but Fudge is looking for something, and Ori finds Phil there. He's going to keep him alive for so long, though. The shockwave not going to hit there for Tuesday, I don't think, as Tomo's able to take down Phil. There's the shockwave from Palafox. This time hits Deus. Diamond though caught out in the midsection. There's Tomo going down to Fragus as Diamond maybe left out to dry as well. Tuesday getting low though. And they are going to be able to get the kill, but CLG still fighting, and Nori going to be left out. He'll fall this time as it's just a back and forth exchange between the two teams. Pretty even across the board. CLG though onto the Rift Herald, they'll take it in the end.
I am loving these fights. CLG just does not care. They can go in right away and they just deleted Tomo. Now, the Shockwave was used to single out Deus, who was spotted in the top side. But that was just such a big mess, and I don't believe that Inori had his ultimate, and definitely Fudge did not have his, which I think were pretty important for this fight. Had those been available, I think CLG would have a much harder time peeling back, and it's when Deus and Tuesday get on you that it gets so tough to win these fights. So let's see how it started, because I believe it was Inori who Hex flashes over and engages onto Phil. So its stun goes up. So he's got 4 members, even more CC gets used onto him, but immediately Tuesday just jumps the back line, and with Aatrox threatened and then a Volibear coming from spawn, the place where they thought they could retreat with was actually the Bear's Den.
Which is not a good place to go, as we quickly learned in this team.
Unless you're a bear. Only bears and cubs are allowed in the Bear Den.
Yes, as long as, you know, it's your den / someone you know. You don't just want to bust into a random bear den as another bear. As ulti in mid lane from Palafox is nice, but CLG going to easily claim that kill as Phil's starting to get it going here on the Pantheon. You know, he's picking up farm, he's got 3 kills now. He's going to summon the Herald in mid. CLG, this is the snowball they want to start rolling. Already up 2,500 gold. It's going to be more than that once this turret falls down.
I think your interview with Dokla makes this game even more exciting. That he said, nah, no other team except Cloud9, but here's CLG clearly giving us something new and saying we can still play this game and actually give Cloud9 a run for their money. Now Inori's using phase
Dunkaroonie.
Yep.
Oh, Wind, I like the attempt, but immune there by Inori's ultimate, and Phil's evil. Not save him this time as Fudge gonna run him over with the ram, takes down the kill.
What a great time for that pick. So despite C9 losing these fights and finding these picks, they're still first to the objectives. They're gonna be securing this dragon. Now, CLG might take another fight, but it's gonna be a 4v5, and Phil can use his ultimate. Here they go.
Oh, Tuesday's ulti maybe a little early there. Inori still in the front side, but Cloud9 is going to take the fight instead. Day is dead instantly as Diamond catches one on his hook, and CLG going to have to abandon any thought of fighting for this dragon.
Yeah, that was going to be a lot tougher to engage. It was not like the Herald fight where they were in a much better position. They were all funneling in from the same direction, and you gave up 1 kill, which had a bounty behind it. That was a 3-0 Aatrox, so Cloud9's going to be very happy with that one. Despite being on the back foot in these fights, they're now on sole point in under 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the gold lead is nice for CLG, but it's not snowballed as it kind of looked like it was. C9, I think, know that with the way the compositions match up against each other, that they just kind of need to, like, not do anything too stupid, and they'll be able to carry through with pretty strong 5v5 team fight and let CLG just, you know, throw themselves trying to pick them off time and time again. That doesn't mean that CLG don't have options, even when the game goes a little bit later, but I think Cloud9 are happy playing a pretty measured pace of game here and feeling confident that they'll outscale, if not in purely in comp, then certainly in execution. And with this objective snowballing the way it is, or with the map opening up a little bit more, Cloud9 don't have to rush things right now. CLG, I think, do need to keep pressure up, and if they can successfully, you know, use this Pantheon, use this Talia, use all of the aggressive tools they drafted for themselves, then certainly they can make Cloud9's challenge of scaling up towards that mid and late game very, very difficult here.
It's especially what you're saying. When you're up against something that is unexpected, like the CLG composition that you might not necessarily be very practiced against, it's always best to just take a deep breath and think, what are our win conditions? What do we need to do? Because we don't need to be sucked into their game of taking these fights that don't have any purpose for us. And so that kind of deep breath and focus just brings you always back to the objective. Okay, we have the objective advantage. We need to just stick to our fundamentals, which is taking fights on our own terms, which is here when you have a numbers advantage, but Aatrox can TP if the fight were to continue. Now they're rounding out CLG into their base. Aatrox has to get
Fudge.
here.
Good flank here with the ulti as well. Going to look to knock off the first forward member. That is Fraggus, who's now dead. So that opens up potentially avenues around these objectives. Baron has just recently spawned, but it could be on the table here for C9.
I think if they had a Ginsu's on Varus, they would think about Baron a little bit more. I think they still have their eyes on that Mountain Soul. That's going to be a really powerful dragon against someone that just wants to continue to dive you. Getting that little bit tankier and having that extra meter shield could keep Varus and Orianna alive just long enough to avoid getting burst down and still get their combos off.
Yeah, equalizing the turrets there now to Cloud9. They take the mid. Diamond going to get dumped on by Tuesday, but here's Tomo to try and save him. The box there for Tuesday is not the best one for him to steal, but here comes Phil riding in, but does not make it over the wall as Diamond is forced to flash at least. So CLG, again, at least continuing to press and find some cooldowns, but they do need more than that if they're going to try and keep up the pace of game they want to be having here versus Cloud9.
What's important for them now is to not fall into the trap of going for a pick around the next 45 seconds, because you commit to that play, suddenly you now have to recall and you're in a bad position for the Dragon Soul. That is the most important thing that CLG has to fight for right now. If they can start stacking those Mountain Dragons, they're going to be in a really great spot. Melee champions with Mountain Dragons is just a dream. It's the second best dream under the Ocean Soul, but that is what they have to go for. The Pantheon will have his ultimate up right now, so this is exactly the time. Not ideal to look for the fight. The dragon is not up just yet. Get those resets and start looking for positioning around this objective, because you know that's what Cloud9 wants to go for, and you don't want to give that up this early.
Yeah, Cloud9 just sweeping that vision out. Actually have a pretty good foothold around the Baron as well, I guess, wanting to make sure that CLG don't try and start that with all the attention being drawn towards the bottom half of the map for that Mountain Soul, excuse me.
Now, CLG's comp is just terrible at doing Baron, which is part of the reason why this setup is so important for them. They are not going to be able to rush this in. Even if they wanted to, Cloud9 did a good job in securing that scuttle so that you have complete vision of the area, or at least good enough vision to deter CLG. 30 seconds up until the play. Cloud9 has complete dominance over the area. They have poke, they have vision. CLG needs to find an angle for an engage, but do you look at the river, there's just no deep wards. How can you use these globals without knowing exactly where the enemy is?
Yeah, Cloud9 have just done such a good job here of setting up for this objective. 10 seconds up, they're going to grab onto the jungler, just poke him down. Oh, never mind, Fraggus is straight in there. Flash Stormbringers into the team fight. Phil's going to dive in there as well. Good ult though from Tomo actually to disengage the rest of the fight as the box is put up by Diamond. And now Fudge is just tanking everyone here as the shockwave does miss. Tuesday, he's going to try and beat the bait. Anori as well as also dove in, but he's going to take the lantern out to safety. Tuesday though finally slayed, and Cloud9 are walking all over CLG in this team fight as Fudge finds the max range over the wall knock up there with the flame charge. Phil's going to get locked up by the Thresh, and Cloud9 just make it look so easy, Crumbs.
They played that fight so well. Now granted, CLG did not give themselves the best chances of winning that, but the fight was practically decided before it happened because of the setup. What we highlight, there was no vision. If you saw Fraggus' POV, he's just jumping in blind. He's saying, we need to go, or else they're going to rush this dragon in our faces, and we're not going to have a chance at doing this, because you don't even know where the opponents are. Inori and Tomo could have been soloing it out, so they threw the dice and wanted to engage, but because they didn't strike from different angles, it was very easy for C9 to disengage. On top of the fact, they've got great disengage tools. Varus, Orianna, even Thresh to an extent can be great at just making sure that these melee champions never touch your carries.
Now watch this one again. I mean, Fraggus is just going off here.
So Tuesday has the Varus ultimate. Let's see what he does with it. So the Varus ultimate whiffs from just max range, and that would have been really good at maybe locking down C9, but once the initial engage, you just take a look at the positioning of CLG and the rest of C9. Not only do CLG still not have any vision in either the Pixel Brush, the Banana, or even the right side, they're all on the same side, so there's just no way they can get onto these carries. And now it feels like the game has completely slipped from CLG's grasp. C9 can do whatever they want without fear of really losing these carries.
I think a really cool way to illustrate what's happening in this game is if you cover up the gold lead and then watch that team fight, and then try and guess at how far ahead you think Cloud9 are, you probably think it's not what it is, which is actually pretty close. As Inori dunks Fragis there into the Haymaker on the win to take him out. The ult there from Tuesday just for, you know, a little something, but Cloud9 are just running over this game. And again, the gold lead is not that significant, but Cloud9, their composition, yes, now the Mountain Soul, have gotten them so far ahead that it feels like the team is fighting from 10,000 gold ahead when they're only a couple thousand gold ahead right now.
Their gold goes further. They
yes.
get good money, right? The money on CLG does not carry them very far, whereas C9 has just the same amount, but for some reason, I'm trying to think of an analogy that works with this, but I don't think I've ever been in a situation where your gold is just worth less than somebody else's. Like in real life.
Have you ever traveled to England? Because I don't know about you, Crumbs, but my money feels like it doesn't go anywhere when I travel there.
That's true, right? These really expensive. I go the other way. I go to really cheap places. And it's like, oh my god, my gold is worth everything.
There you go. Just invert that, and then same thing.
Yeah, the pound, right? Just like the most expensive currency.
I mean, before I lived here, buying anything from the US, from Australia, was a miserable experience. So, well, maybe it's not that bad or not. Anyway, we're going to focus back in on the game here. I'm certainly not the one to tell you anything about economics. I am here to tell you about Cloud9. Just completely dominating CLG at this point in the game. It's they've got the Baron, they're just scooping up objectives and structures. This has been such a clean game, and we love the game plan for CLG, but it does not look like it's going to work out. In fact, Cloud9 are going to put an end to this game in very short order. CLG are going to have to try and put on their last few moments of standing up to Cloud9, but unfortunately they just get knocked back down. Fragment's already taken out. Fudge with the ulti to disengage the fight that wasn't really going anywhere anyway. And they're just trying to cut these waves, trying to prevent the Nexus from crumbling, but Cloud9 have one singular goal, and that is taking yet another win here in Academy. They're looking to equalize the records with CLG, claim potentially that second place, depending on how the rest of the results fall this week, but they are on fire recently. It seems like they are back to Spring Championship form, or very close if not there yet. And it's just going to be crumbling in the base here. Wynn's going to get shockwaved and killed. Tuesday's going to go into stasis. Cloud9, I think at this point, having fun beating up CLG than they are winning the game, as the Nexus will finally be given attention to by Inori, as Cloud9 to finish off CLG.
They want to pad those stats, and I can't blame them.
Oh, they padded them.
They were so on point when it came to the objective game. They knew that their composition just needed to be together and not give that many opportunities for CLG, which, all things considered, I think this draft with a bit of a cleaner execution, actually a lot cleaner of execution against a potentially weaker team, would have worked. I really like to see this direction to experiment, especially against an opponent that you might think you need to throw a curveball at to catch them off guard.
Have to agree, but Cloud9 still looking clean after it. Oh, we are going to go on a break, but we'll hear from Fudge after not too long, so meet us here after this. Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm joined by the victorious Fudge. Congratulations on your win today.
Hello. Hello. Nice to win,
pretty...
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been doing a lot of winning recently. What do you mean?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was an interesting win, but to be fair, I feel like it was just like comp difference, really. I ran over gap.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about that. Did you expect CLG to throw something quite unorthodox at you?
No, we like whenever we do like mock drafts before stage games, we always do like 30 minutes of just like drafting what we think they'll do, and this game was by far like the weirdest one out of like every draft we've done. Like we never thought Talia Phantom would
no
be a
bingo
thing.
cards. All right. Well, certainly it seemed like you just drafted very standard and handled it very well from there. Were there any points in the game where it's like this is getting a little iffy, or do you just kind of be like, yeah, this is easy enough to handle because we know what they want to do?
Nah, when we saw we were getting the first dragon, we were like, okay, this game's over. Like these guys can't play because they need to stack dragons and they need to get like a 25 minutes like a 25-minute soul, or they just lose the game. And even then, it's still hard for them.
There was a 25.
We were really confident.
There was a 25-minute soul in this game, though, and it was you. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
So then let's take a step back then and just kind of talk about the team in the season holistically. Like you said, feels good to win, and there wasn't a whole lot of winning happening in the early stages of the league. Was that just adjusting to new teammates, or kind of what was that like in those first weeks, kind of getting back into the groove of things in Academy?
Well, a lot of the first like losses were like there were a lot of different reasons why we lost. I would definitely not say it's because of like a new roster. I think we were also just like the previous players were just playing like not too well, like myself included. We were all like playing pretty badly. So, I mean, I feel like we've improved a lot since the first like week for sure. But I mean, we still have a lot to improve on, of course.
I mean, I think that's a very fair criticism of yourself and the team, but I think right now you're actually playing very well. In fact, with King not on the team, who consistently overperformed, especially towards the end of spring, I feel like you're a player that's finally stepping into your own. Not that you were bad or anything before, but I think you're getting to show off a little bit more, at least in recent games. Are you happy with how you're playing?
I'm okay with how I'm playing, but I also think that if I'm not like beating Academy top lane is really hard in lane, then that means I'm probably not that good because Academy is not a long way away from like LCS level. So,
I mean, you're also getting on instead of GP in the draft. So, you know, sometimes you have to do things for the team, but it does seem like everything's going in the right direction for Cloud9. So, Fudge, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Team Liquid and IMT Academy will be competing for game number 4, though, so don't go too far. We'll have more Academy action coming up after the break.